You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
We are back. Woo! New installment, same clothes of Shut Up When You're Talking to Me. I keep saying
You're never gonna get it right. Just shut up when you talk to me.
That's what I said.
You said shut up when you're talking to me.
That's what I said. What do you say?
Shut up when you talk to me.
Shut up when you're talking to me.
Shut up when you talk to me. You have one job. Shut up when you talk to me.
Well, I do not listen and I do not shut up. So today I'm Dion Lack.
At least he's honest.
I'm Gerren Kelsaw.
Nick Rossi.
And we are talking while we're shutting up. We're going to be talking
Everyone but you.
talking about social media, the gift, the curse, the ebbs, the flows, when you start, why you stop, why you start late, why are you addicted?
There's a lot of turmoil happening in the social media world these days.
Absolutely.
You can't even go online without seeing something weird happen on social media.
Right.
People are licking ice cream. Stop doing that. Don't do that.
Come on.
It's weird.
Come on, stop the challenges that's compromising people's lives, and we could die. No, I hear stuff like, "Hey, let's do the how long you can hang from a bridge challenge."
Yeah,
and it's like, why?
Well, no, people were eating Tide Pods. Like, I think there was a little overblown, but there was definitely more than a few people who actually ate Tide Pods. Don't do that.
No,
don't do that. That's silly.
That's Darwinian, I think. Let him.
Let him figure it out the hard way.
It's a self-solving problem. I saw a sign once when I was on vacation in Florida. It said it violates this penal code in Florida. No molesting alligators. That's a self-solving problem, in my opinion. Tide Pod.
If you want to wrestle an alligator,
it's a self-resolving issue.
Seems like Florida needs a lot of this.
Don't molest the alligators because it's against the law. Yeah, if you out there molesting alligators,
own social media. Florida needs its own social media. I feel like they have a hub of, you know what's a good idea?
Yeah.
Let's strike flamingos.
Yeah.
This is like...
Or the guy that was in the drive-thru and threw an alligator into the drive-thru window as he drove away with his Wendy's or whatever it was.
Yeah, and then you know what? Right after that, it was all over social media.
Yeah, sure was.
Anything on social media?
When did you first get on the social media?
I got on social media, Black Planet.
Nice.
Wait, what? I don't even know what that is.
Man, it was honestly.
My guess is they didn't target my audience.
Pretty much.
Okay.
No, it was a lot of white people on it. It was 2001 to.
Don't go assigning my race, please.
I won't. 2001 to 2, and it was honestly, and I don't know this for a fact, it was the Facebook. It was nothing else.
Does this predate MySpace?
Yes.
Okay, I believe you.
No. I'm just thinking like this was the first Facebook. This was the first social media.
Black Planet.
Black Planet. It still exists, but I think it's more for music now.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't know it still exists.
Wish I had my password. I would love to see a 19-year-old Dion Lack and how he always kept his hand on his face.
Oh, that was the move?
Absolutely.
Okay.
My name was This Is Mr. Big _
He's like school water.
Of course that was your name.
Absolutely. Because in high school, there was a thing called Big Daddy shirts. I used to always wear Big Daddy. And I used to call it This Is Mr. Big. My opinion on social media, I feel like for children, it's a problem.
But hold on. He asked you, when did you get on? Why? Before you get to where you are today.
Okay.
Why did you do it?
Why did I get on? It was the thing. Internet was just popping off.
Okay.
It became it. I think Black Planet alternated. It kind of shifted AIM. Remember AIM?
Yeah, of course.
Instant Messenger, yes, so you could talk to people.
Right.
There were no text messages on phone at that time, right?
It was coming.
In the beginning of cell phones, right? You could call people, but there was
it cost you so much per message that your mom would be like, listen, you ain't
Chris Rock bullet thing, right? You could send a text message, but it'd be like $30.
It better be an emergency.
It was like 5 cents a text or something like that. And you better use 100 all those characters.
All those.
Don't send me no highs.
That's it.
But yeah, I feel like it definitely was like, oh, people enjoy the engagement, so let's use that.
It was an improvement on it.
See, I was an even earlier adopter. I was on the AOL chat rooms, like on the platform, and on this thing called Usenet at the time, which I don't even know.
I heard that one.
So like, the original internet, it was a messaging system between college, university, like research labs, and so Usenet kind of evolved from that. Like
it's like a bulletin board system.
It's like a bulletin board system, and so there's not a lot of real time communication, but you still have that like direct con.
What you got on was an improvement over that system.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So you got on it there before that. So this is like a dial-up system where you're talking about like
definitely
it was like the Unix system where it was like
there's no graphics or anything.
No. It was disjointed. It was a one-off, and then then came AIM, which was an improvement over cell phones.
Because then you have real-time chat.
That's right. But now this is the first real like social network one where it's all aggregated together, where everybody. It's like a single location where everybody could come together in one spot, so it's like the beginning of a modern social network.
Right.
Am I correct? Again, I don't know what this thing. I've never heard of this thing before.
I'm trying
to understand the progression.
I don't even see the difference between Black Planet and Facebook. It was this. A lot of people don't think this. Facebook was. Black Planet was the thing. Then Friendster came, then MySpace, and then Facebook took Black Planet's whole structure, which was very basic, very bland. Facebook for 12, 15 years has been using the same like
overall layout. Yeah.
MySpace messed it up. Like you can create your own layout, and then you have
and then it went crazy.
Pictures were everywhere. You can like go on websites to kind of download it, but you couldn't find nowhere to click. Like I'm trying to click this.
And remember when people had music on their MySpace pages that would just automatically play, and you couldn't fucking shut it off?
It was like E-Bounds World.
Oh my god! It was
so like when Homer Simpson made it, where he just stole everything from web pages.
Yes,
and then put it on his own thing, and it was
a million things are glittering at you.
If this was MySpace layout, you'll buy a customized layout that was like slightly off. So you're trying to click, turn the music off, but you couldn't find it. You're like, where is it? But you hear, big booty hoes, I'm in church. How are we doing this? So,
it's like your bipolar aunt planned your wedding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So because of that horrible structure, Facebook was like, I got it.
Yeah, it was cleaner.
Let's go back to basic.
Simpler.
And then it just eradicated MySpace. And then I feel like Black Panther was like, hey, I'm still here.
Right.
But everybody, and I think with college and like that millennial like culture just kind of made Facebook hot and popular.
Well, that was part of what Facebook, their draw was initially. Like you had to have a college email in order to join it.
So that was the Wigglebosses thing too, right? So they had the beef with them because they initially did that, and that's what they included that in part of the movie. Is that it was part of like an exclusivity club.
Right.
Is that you had to be? They were of Harvard, right? You had to be in there. You weren't part of the club unless
it evolved like from Harvard to other Ivies
and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then once they realized, even though they didn't know how they were going to make money, and that's actually still how tech unicorns work now. You don't necessarily know how you're going to make money, but you just expand the pool.
But if you have a lot of people there,
until you have enough eyeballs. It's actually how news works now too. It used to be that you would sell newspapers as a subscription, and then people would pay you or whatever. But now, if you have enough eyeballs, you can just insert.
It's why BuzzFeed is a thing, right? Because they get hits, they get people click on it, so you can still sell ads because you got eyeballs, even if you're, withering between like clickable lists and quizzes and actual news. It's still, as long as you're bringing people to the site, then it's going to pay the bills.
So, but that's what really drives the developers of social media now, is that, and so you said this, MySpace messed it all up, and I said it briefly, but there's an episode where Homer Simpson wants to become a Silicon Valley millionaire, and he realizes that just like all of the genius Silicon Valley millionaires before him, all he has to do, in the same way that Facebook appropriated, what was it called, Black Planet, is that what it was? They appropriated their design, that all he had to do was just steal everything that everybody liked off the internet and smash it together into one web page, like E-Bounds World did too, where the music plays and everything. It drives you fucking bananas as soon as you see it. And by the way, that is on there. This shit is bananas. That was literally the most viewed thing on E-Bounds.
When did you get on social media?
2014. Give me 1 second and I'll tell you that story. But hold on, no, that's what Google did. So before, when Google supplanted all the other web search pages, what Yahoo was doing and AltaVista and all the rest of them was they would have a million other things that you could click on. And Google was able to supplant them because it offered you a very simple interface. It was just the bar. But then, so that's what all of the rest of social media has done now, is they've they've reverted to that very simple interface that giving you the least amount of attention required to get the most amount of gratification back for the least amount of effort that you put in. So it's feeding you as easy as possible, the most that you can get out for doing the absolute least. So it's almost like it's like a sugar rush every time that you look at it, and we just keep coming back and coming back.
That's why this is slightly off, but that's why I think In-N-Out and Chick-fil-A is so popular, because they have very minimum options.
Otherwise you get overwhelmed.
Right.
So, and the thing is, I came to this game late. You talking about shit that I never even heard of. So
that's what I was saying. I was like, when did you get involved?
So I'm telling you, I came to this. I'm tech oriented. I taught myself to program in C when I was a kid. I learned BASIC from scratch, for fun. I've always been tech savvy and computer savvy, but I eschewed social media from the very beginning. I never saw the value in it. I dated I dated and then married and lived with a woman that I loved for a long time, and sorry about that. And we lived together, and we moved away from where I grew up, and I had very little outside influence other than family, so I didn't really see the need in maintaining relationships with people that I wasn't friends with in high school in the first place. Throw me the towel.
No, that's dry towel. Keep talking.
And so we had our own lives, and I saw that other people that I was around that were taking the time to go on social media to do stupid things that didn't make any sense to me. And then you would see people talking about did you see this person that shared this thing? And I was like, no. Or did you find this thing funny that this person did? And I said, no. And it wasn't until that I went back to school, I went back to school in my 30s, and then I was 10 years older than everybody. And when I got there and realized, fuck, I'm old, but also that in order to stay in contact with the people there, that it was strange that I wasn't connected, and also just in order to get my assignments, to be in contact with my professors, to do anything, I had to have a Facebook account, and I never had.
Yeah, right.
In 2014 I did, and I hadn't been like the two of you were along for this ride, where you saw the evolution of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I came in at a place where it had already come through all of that development, and it had been so well defined into this beast that it had become all of the things that I feared that it might be, and it was so much more pernicious than I thought that it was. And then even though I had feared it, I bit right into it. And then now I stand back and look at it and think, how could you be so fucking stupid? But I still am.
I mean, aren't we all? Because you said, it's been refined and defined in order to deliver you that gratification. People look for those notifications, the little red dot. Part of the reason why it's red. That's why it gives you a number count. That's why it's, it alerts you. It tries to alert you all the time about everything that's happening so that you keep coming back to it. I mean, obviously they're doing research based on where you click and what you look at and where your eyeballs go to. But even the motion, right? The simplicity of the swipe. To get through things, either on Tinder or whatever Bumbles on the left and the rights, or the straight up and down that you do on Instagram or Facebook. That scroll, the ability to kind of just keep it endless pages going, just keeps you in the moment. That's very much why it's become so ubiquitous and pernicious, I think, at the same time, right? It's because we know what it's doing, but none of us seem to be able to stop it. Very few people I know can honestly give up all of their socials. Right? Just like you were saying, it ultimately cuts you off from whole circles of communication.
It's antisocial.
Yeah.
That's what it does. It's just like what we discussed in the last episode about salve for your mind, right? It makes you feel like you're being social because you have 500 friends and you get a like and a heart or whatever it is, but really you're cutting off all of this other stuff to do it. It's funny because the thing is it worse or better? Somebody posted this, I don't remember where it was, and it's bitterly ironic that I put it this way, and it was a picture of people who were standing with a whole bunch of other people on a subway station in New York, I think it was Times Square, and everybody's on their phone. It's a morning commute. And then they posted a picture of the same subway station, it was 70 years before, and it was in black and white, and everybody was sitting there reading a newspaper. So the point was that nobody was talking today, but then nobody was talking the time before. But I think that was misguided. Because sure, everybody there was reading the newspaper then, but the newspaper only has so many pages in it, and they only delivered it twice a day.
Yeah.
And and then you still went and talked to somebody about what was in the newspaper.
And are you really reading it cover to cover? Right.
Whatever
You're going to put it down in 10 minutes.
And you talk to the people, like, that newspaper probably was the New York Times, and really only people in New York read that mostly. They didn't distribute it nationwide. It didn't create those echo chambers or whatever. Yeah. And you still talk to your neighbor about it or whatever. And you didn't go to dinner with your wife and read the newspaper and then read it again and then share it with the person.
Always on.
Yeah, and you didn't get an update 3 minutes later about the article that you just read and comment to the person that wrote it.
I think it is a gift and a curse, because if you have a business, this is a good way to share your business with the rest of the world easily from just a click of a button. The problem is, I feel like once you get some sort of a buzz or a following, it becomes like a drug. It's the same sort of endorphins to kind of like, ooh, I'm being loved and liked. It's the same feeling of cocaine or sugar and stuff. So I think children, since their brain is still being developed, I don't want them to get used to the this is how I'm going to be perceived and loved before they understand interactions with human beings of let's talk versus this is my form of talking. And because if they become viral, famous, this is how they are going to continue to become, to relive
start to define themselves by it.
Right. So I heard,
but it also becomes like those YouTubers become the sports stars, right? Like, instead of trying to be Michael Jordan, people end up wanting to be,
a million likes.
I want to be Logan Paul. I want to be I want to be the guy, the next jackass type of guy that does something silly on the internet.
Once you become famous, you no longer grow. A few celebrities have said this. So that's why a lot of like child stars, it's hard for them to develop because they feel like, this is my life. I need to relive this moment again because I cannot have that feeling again. I am this person. So once you become viral, it's very rare that you see people surpass that because they're trying to do a part two of this.
We've always had that problem, but social media definitely magnifies it. It certainly broadens who has access to that, and for what too. You said like Jackass, right? So before it would be like Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5, like that was really rare then, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now you have kids like just very recently, the mini AOC girl who ended up getting those death threats or whatever when that went viral or whatever. I'm not using her, I'm not saying it for a political conversation, but just like a YouTube star like that at such a young age, we have them 8-year-old, 7-year-old kids that are coming across, and like that's their moment in the sun right there in that second, and they go from obscurity to pop right there, and it's not just somebody that's as talented as Michael Jackson who goes on to have like a storied career because they're actually so talented at that one thing, but across the board, social media can just pluck you out of a haystack, and put you on the world stage, and now in an instant, right? And then that's exactly what happens. And before we've always had the problem, but now it's tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000,000-fold.
But on balance, though, so like we've been talking a lot about what's negative about it, but on balance, there are some positive aspects to it. Like
Discovering talent that would have never been discovered.
Talent that would never be discovered. Giving voices to places that wouldn't otherwise have a voice. I love and hate Twitter for the reason that there's no longer this barrier between people and like suggesting their opinion, but not all opinions are made the same. Not all of them have the same value or perspective. It's better to have, but then there's no gatekeeper that's saying like, hey,
shut up when you're talking to me.
Exactly, and that creates a better opportunity for discourse, but it's still a tool, right? Like it's only as good as you use it.
The good thing is I think the beautiful thing about social media, there was a huge disconnect between celebrities and people.
Right.
You can actually go right to the source and actually receive a response. Oh my God, I am talking to Gabrielle Union. This is crazy.
So you're just saying no gatekeeper.
It's it's beautiful. I think it's a problem when you use that opportunity to troll them or say, what you're doing, I hate that. Your child is ugly.
But what if they need to be trolled? But what if they've done or said something that deserves to be trolled?
Sure, why not? But why?
Because maybe they.
You wouldn't do that in person, would you?
Maybe they have engaged in some activity that society deems as not acceptable, and they normally would have been able to lock themselves behind their gated community someplace and cut themselves off from any sort of retribution is the wrong word, but even being criticized. people who have been able to lock themselves in an ivory tower for a long period of time because of the power of social media have now had to answer for their actions. Politicians, the wealthy, actors and actresses, people who have been able to insulate themselves with wealth and power from being held responsible for what they've done are now having to answer to the common people who now have a voice because of social media.
Have to answer?
They are being held to the flame of public opinion in a way, but it has both sides.
Right.
Like he said, it gives people a voice who didn't have a voice, but not all opinions are made the same.
Right. Would what happened to Harvey Weinstein have happened if it weren't for social media? I don't think so. He was doing it for a long time, and it was because of the Me Too movement and the way that conversation spread. I think the same is true of the Jeffrey Epstein guy. And a reporter had written that article in the Miami Times Herald, and it just went out into the newspaper, like you were saying, and then that got folded up and then put away, and then like a new newspaper came out the next day. Right. Would it have had the lasting power of 10 million shares? Yeah. Where people are reading this and now asking questions about it. But then they're false accusations too. Mm-hmm. But then so it is a double-edged sword. But I also wonder, like, what's the next step? Like, how much more ubiquitous could it even get? Or, like we were talking about how the interfaces are changing, and our Twitter could get smaller, like, using 140 characters versus like the almost unlimited that you have to do in Facebook or whatever it is.
You know what? This is what I think will help a lot of mental problems and the mentality of I'm better than you, or because I think the amount of followers, the amount of likes is brilliant for the company, Facebook and all these companies, but it jacks up the person's mind. If I don't know how many followers I have, if I don't know how many likes I have, if I just put it out there, it's like, this is going to save lives. This is going to possibly change someone's life or someone's day. I'm going to make this world a better place by posting this. And I don't see the amount of views I got. I can feel like in my head, I got 2 million views versus, damn, I only got 36 views. I feel uncomfortable about this. I'm never going to post this again. So I get why Facebook say you have 16,000 views or you have 2 views. Right. I'm no longer going to post this information. I was like, man, I got to figure out how to re-strategize this because I'm not getting the amount of views I want. I'm not getting the amount of likes I want.
But then why are you doing it?
Because
questioning
you
your
want
motivation.
To make
then if that's the case, if that's why you're doing it, then you would never adopt that system in the first place.
You still have to be strategic, though. You have to kind of say, you got to figure out a system.
But what I'm saying is, if you're doing it strategically because you want the likes, then if someone were to give you a system where you don't get to see the views, where you don't get to see the likes, you wouldn't adopt it, which is why they don't do it. So it would be a non-starter.
Well, would you look at
unless it was the only option? So you'd have to eliminate all the other platforms and only offer people a system where it would be blind.
Would you work if you not know how much money you have in the bank?
I don't know the answer to that question. Would I work if I didn't know how much money I had in the bank?
If you just said, just keep working, you will be fine in life. You'd be like, well, how much money am I making? Don't worry about it. We're just going to take care of you. Would you be like, I need to know how much money I have so I can make it speak like, we got you. So I feel like I need some sort of motivation to know how much money I'm making.
I'm not sure that they're analogous ideas. I'm not actually following you. But the point about social media that I'm making is, if you're somebody that's posting for likes or for shares, if the only option that you have is to post to a platform where you couldn't get likes and shares, you wouldn't post.
That's the problem.
So then if people are posting for likes and shares, given the option where they can only post not for likes and shares, they wouldn't post at all anyway. Because their only motivation is for the justification of likes and shares.
The problem is that they've created themselves into this.
I get it, but that's the whole point that I made about when I joined. Right. It had already become this beast that has been so well refined.
Because I think that
it's like the rats that keep pushing the thing where you can get food or Coke, and they just keep pushing the Coke button until they die, and they never eat the food because they've already done so well at knowing what will keep you coming back and coming back and coming back. Right. And that is what people who probably wanted to change the world, who probably wanted to help people, who wanted to post things that were motivational, genuinely, not pushing the buttons so that people will want to like and share. They had taken people who had genuine motivations to do good.
It's like the people who post that they're quitting Facebook.
Yeah.
Like if you really cared,
you just turn it off.
You would just turn it off. You don't make an announcement about it.
It's like somebody who says,
you still want those last likes on the way out.
That's right. I'm gonna kill myself. Well, you wouldn't post it.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that humans do need performance metrics in the same way that you're talking about money, right? Money is a performance metric. If you do well at the job, they pay you more. And if your posts are engaged, then you get more likes and follows and views, right? And so it's a performance metric for where you're putting your energy. And humans like that. We like to be rewarded for our contribution, either in the system of work, in the system of school, you get an A, you get a check plus or whatever it is. In the system of families, you know what I mean? You get the love and appreciation of your children and wife, hopefully. Good luck, everybody. No, but it's part of the human animal. It's part of the human nature. And I wonder if that's even escapable, or is it futile to try to escape this very kind of fundamental fact of us that we want to be patted on the back?
I try to. I think, first of all, I already got all the A's.
4 minutes.
And I didn't care. I never did. I'm a prolific writer, not patting myself on the back, but it's because I write every day. And it's mostly because I think that most of what I write is shit. It's not because for lack of effort. It's not objectively, if that's a thing, shit. It's just that it's never done. But it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a journey. It's supposed to be... Writing is about trying to communicate with people. It's because you care. You write for yourself, but you write because you want to connect with people. And I think that everything that you just said is probably right of almost everyone. And this doesn't make me better or worse, but I think that almost all of the things that I think that are just less shitty than almost everything that I write, I get the least engagement from. And it's not because it's not viewed, but it's not liked and it's not commented on because people don't know what to say. People don't know how to react to it. They don't know how to respond to it. They don't know what to think or what to say. And that is exactly the response that I want from it. And I don't want likes and I don't want shares. All I want is for somebody to read it and think. And they don't have to agree with me and they don't have to tell me, attaboy, that was a good job. And in fact, I don't want that. Because if I get an attaboy, that's a good job, when I pour my heart out to somebody and I post everything that I write, every time that I take the time to share a piece of myself with somebody on social media, which I do in genuine. If I get an attaboy back, that's really a fuck you.
Damn.
All right. Well, we got about 3 more minutes. You guys got any final thoughts? I'm just gonna say this: for the algorithm situation, if it was like a bank account, it'd be nice if only we could see it. But
fair.
If other people can see it, it would just be a blank slate.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, I know I have 2 million followers. They don't know. So it's not a problem. For them to kind of like, oh, he's an influence. What's another thing? Influence. Who do you influence these people to do? Like, why are people following you?
Yeah.
Like, hey, like you have this much power. How are you leading these people? I always want to ask social media people that.
You know, Reddit works like that on a post-by-post basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's anonymous, so you don't nobody. You can direct message people or whatever, but it's not like a picture of you or whatever. And then when you post things, people can vote it up or vote it down. And
that's nice.
You don't get like a aggregate score of everything you've ever done. But the way that it works is the community, it's like based on a topic, right?
Nice.
And if you post something based on the value of this post and the community's opinion in that one subtopic, it will go up and down in the results based on what they in aggregate think about it. And then you don't get like, not everybody knows who you are, and you don't get to like keep those followers through the thing. So it's sort of like a democratic process that. And you don't know who knows or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I understand what you're saying, but I think that's the closest thing to what you're talking about.
Yeah. So we got 1 more minute.
It's got a little bit of both. I mean, I think ultimately we're all gonna just gamble it up. We're gonna have to stick together, guys, to roll the dice. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been a new installment of.
Do it.
Shut up
when you talk to me. Come on.
Shut up when you talk.
Shut up when you're talking to me.
Shut up when you talk to me. You have one job. Shut up when you talk.
Shut up when you're talking to me. Yeah,
When you talk to me. Oh my God! Shut up when you talk to me.
Shut up when you're talking to me.
Thanks,
Shut up when you talk to me.
I've been Dion Lack.
Gerren Kelsaw.
Nick Rossi.
And thanks for watching, guys.